Alright, hello and welcome to another Devstream breakdown. So, getting a little bit of a later start than I might want today. And quite a bit happened on the Devstream today. Maybe not as much as I would have hoped. Though, it's never as much as I would have hoped personally, so what can you do? We did get some good news. New event on PC, Project Sinister, is going to be coming out. Should be coming out at the beginning of next week. And there is some leaked content that is maybe not final that I have seen. There were some leaked mods. For example, there was a mod that is allegedly leaked, could be photoshopped. That was a shotgun mod that added 90% status chance whenever you use an ability through the shotgun. So, some mods that could be interesting. Maybe some stuff that is making way for like mods 3.0. That could be really good. So there's that. Also, the Project Sinister event is going to have Second Dream tie-ins, which should be fun. I don't know if you're going to be able to run the event if you haven't done Second Dream, so I would suggest getting on that, because that quest is not only very good, it might be a prerequisite for this event. And there's going to be a new VIP system, which I have some speculation about. There are some new codex entries that are... They seem familiar to me. And with them saying on stream today that there's a new VIP system, to me, one of the codex entries that got leaked seems to be the outline of Perrin. So I don't know if we're going to have some like interaction with the specific leaders of our different factions, and maybe they are the new important VIPs, but I think that could be pretty interesting. So that event is shaping up to be pretty good and fun. For those of you on consoles, 18.3 with Nesha, and I think it's pretty much everything before Trinity's new skin is insert today, allegedly. Should be insert today. So you guys should get that pretty quickly, reasonably quickly. You guys will probably get that around the same time we get the event. That's prediction, not concrete. That's my prediction. So there's that stuff with all the updates and things that are going to be coming very, very soon. So for Umbra, people have been wondering when is Excal Prime or Excal Umbra gonna come out? And it's like, because it was supposed to come out in December, and now it is almost February. We're reasonably close, and we still don't have it. So they've been working on the new system that they want to introduce with the Umbras to have some special function and some story relevance, and some large difference between them and other frames, I presume. So that's still being worked on. We'll probably have to wait a little bit for Umbra. Me personally, I want them to take as much time as it takes to make it really fun and good and interactive in a fun way. So I'm in no rush to have Excal Umbra, but I know for those of you that maybe don't have access to Excal Prime, Excal Umbra may be on your wish list on like number 1 or number 2, and I can see why. So there's that. Also, we got news vaguely. They didn't really, they kind of jumped off this point a little bit after they said it, because I think they maybe didn't want to say that they were doing this. Apparently there are 4 current Warframes in development, which makes me think that maybe 2 of them are for China and 2 of them are for us right now. That's just my like feeling that I would get from that. That there would be some like Chinese exclusive ones, and then we would get our like regular ones. That's just a guess. Maybe both builds will get all 4 of them relatively soon. That'd be awesome. More Warframes, more fun. Speaking of more Warframes, they want to get the deluxe skins out for all of the Warframes. I don't know how reasonable that is to expect in any like fast amount of time, because deluxe skins, maybe, I don't know, it seems like they come out at like a reasonable pace, but I don't think we're gonna have all the Warframes done this year. It would be real cool if we did, but yeah. Also with that, we got a Zephyr concept for a deluxe skin that I don't know how I feel about, and it's this. It's like a weird Diablo thing, and I don't know how I feel about it. It looks, I don't know, it seems, like, yeah, it's just not, it doesn't appeal at all to me, but maybe for those of you that like Zephyr, maybe you also like this. I don't know, let me know in the comments if this is like a thing that appeals to you, because for me personally, I look at this and go, that's not something I want in my life. So Maybe you guys can... Maybe you guys will like that if you like Zephyr. Anyway, Banshee is next. Probably, maybe, probably, maybe, probably, maybe, probably. Should be, maybe, also. That's kind of how it went. They said Banshee is next, and then there were a lot of probablys and maybes. So, maybe, hopefully Banshee gets a cool skin, and maybe some tweaks to her powers to make her better. That'd be nice. Anyway, Syndicate melees. They are coming. We know that. We could have inferred that probably for quite some time. Bad news, probably on underused weaponry. Now, what that means is that they're gonna make Syndicate melees on weapons that are currently dog shit, probably. That's no good. I don't want a Syndicate machete. Those stances are bad, and all the machetes up until now have been bad. So if we could not get another Prova, that'd be great. Yeah, then maybe we could get some weapons that people like. That'd be awesome, but also, if they are going to maybe take, let's say, daggers, and then give us a dagger that we actually want to use for something that is not covert lethality, that'd be kind of nice, I suppose. Maybe give us a stance that's worth half a shit also, and then maybe more mods that make it so that hitting things with one big strike is not the best thing for life strike. I don't know. There's some changes to melee that would maybe make fast hitting things a lot better. But maybe gunblades are considered underused, and we could get a Vacor Redeemer. That'd be real neat. Or like a Sancti Redeemer. That could look really cool. There are interesting things they could do with it, but I don't think we're going to see, like, a Telos Skindo, basically. If anything, we're probably going to see the Telos Boltace. I feel like that is, like, just do it. Just do the thing. Just make that weapon endgame viable. They're going to look super cool. But yeah, that's the news on Syndicate melees. In terms of stances, they want to do system changes to stances, because right now, like we saw with Vulpine Mask, it sucks ass farming for Vulpine Mask. I was given it, thank you very much, Shade, for giving me that Vulpine Mask shortly after the Destraza came out so I could test it properly. That was very nice of you. So they want to change how we're getting these stances, and they listed 3 possible changes for how it's going to happen. For me personally, I like the first one. I think it's cool. And that would be to go solo with the weapon, and do like solo with just that melee weapon, and do missions that way, and you would have like an increasingly high chance to get the stance from any enemy. That's one that I think is really neat, but it depends on what the drop rate really is, because when they say like a higher drop rate, does that mean that like any enemy has a 1% chance to drop it, or does that mean like you kill 100 guys and like eventually you get to like a 20% drop rate where it's like, oh, this is gonna drop, like it's gotta drop at this point, right? Like after 100 enemies, like 100 is not that much, but it's like, okay, I've built myself up to like a 10 to 20% drop rate. It's pretty likely at this point. And then you could practice with like the basics of that weapon and things like that. I think that would be really good. Other one, neutral stance with a high drop chance. This one, shit, I don't remember exactly what he said about this. Neutral stance with a high drop chance. Okay, I don't remember what that one was. I remember that was the one that I didn't like, so there's that. God, I wish I could remember what it was. I know that was the one that was my least favorite. I really like the first one and the third one. Anyway, I'm sorry about that. The third one, and these are all just possibilities anyway. The third one is that you have a special mission of like varying difficulty that when you completed it, you were given the stance. That one seems fine, but it is maybe a little like too far on the easy side. I feel like the first one, like giving you practice with like the basics of the weapon in order to get the stance, makes a lot of sense. And we might see more people being like, well, melee only is actually a thing you can do on certain frames. Well, this is neat. I think that would be all fine and good and fun. Anyway, moving on. We have a new ship concept. So here it is. No name. Popped it up for like a couple seconds. It looks really cool. Someone even mentioned in the stream, it's Millennium Falcon-like. It definitely, if you just change the colors, it's like, this is a Warframe Millennium Falcon. And that's pretty cool. It's a neat design. Hopefully its ability is not a Carpet Bomb, because Carpet Bomb's terrible. And the other ships have way better abilities than the Scimitar, even though the Scimitar looks amazing. So, moving on to Augments. Okay, so we were shown Atlas Augments and Equinox Augments. And I gotta say, I'm not really excited for either based on what they showed. They showed it against some incredibly low-level enemies, so take that for what you will. We didn't really get to see anything of significance in terms of testing there, because you can test a Mark 1 Breton on those enemies, and it works great. So, for Tectonics, you have the ability to put up 3 walls. I don't know why this isn't already a thing Atlas can do, and it taking up a mod slot seems incredibly not worth it on a frame that needs some significant modding to get to a good place. Atlas. Rumblers. Instead of 2 Rumblers, 1 huge Rumbler. And as many times as they said 1 huge Rumbler, they didn't tell you what actual benefits you get from having 1 huge Rumbler. So, on the Design Council, whenever we voted, it was that 1 huge Rumbler would be a, beacon of aggro that would make everyone fight it. They did not mention that at all, and if all this augment does is takes you from 2 Rumblers to 1 big Rumbler, then it's useless. Complete, waste of a mod slot 100% of the time. So hopefully it's not like that. Anyway, Petrify a loot increase. Thank you, I guess, for making this ability that was lackluster still lackluster. That's great. Why? I don't know why. We already have a frame that has a dedicated power on get more loot. So I guess it's an augment. It's not one I will ever use. I probably will not even purchase this augment. Makes me very sad to see Atlas not really getting any augments that have any real impact, with the possible exception of the Rumbler augment maybe being good in some way, shape, or form. Moving on to Equinox. For her 2, Rest and Rage spreads the effect on kill. So that's fine and all, but the problem still remains is that if you're using this, you're usually only using 1 augment. So if you're using this augment and you're building for this, to spread that, you have duration and then you have range to spread this over a wide area, that means that you're not in day form using your 4, which is Equinox's current only good power, besides incidentally using rage on 1 enemy. So what that basically means is that this isn't very good. There's not it just isn't. If you want to crowd control in this way, there are way better frames to do that with, so this will be good for those people that really are looking for a reason to play as Equinox, but otherwise, it's just kind of meh. I can only hope that maybe this would come with Equinox changes, but I'm not holding my breath on that. Metamorphosis, the other half breaks free and becomes a Spectre. Why do we need this? Oh yeah, we don't. That's a waste of a mod slot. AI's not good enough. They can't follow you fast enough. It's pointless. It's a pointless augment. For fun, sure, it's cool, but it's not very practical and is a waste of a mod slot. Unless there's some other bonus attached to it. So, Pacify and Provoke, hard to show without co-op. Pacify and Provoke are terrible, so if it requires more co-op in order for you to do Pacify and Provoke's augment, it's probably still completely useless. They didn't really specifically say exactly how that was going to work. They just said it was hard to show a lot, so I mean, I'm hoping that it's good and maybe she can find some niche role besides hit 4 and wait, but not holding my breath again. So that's unfortunate. None of the augments really seemed too potent. Nothing that actually, I feel changes gameplay or becomes a huge boon. For example, Iron Shrapnel. Iron Shrapnel does that with Rhino. It makes Rhino, you can play differently because of his augments, which is really cool and important. And things like Trinity, obviously, having like Vampire Leech and stuff, that's a very good augment that gives you a new boon. It's totally worth the mod slot. Unfortunately, it seems like these are not going to be those mods. So we mourn Atlas and Equinox's passing, and no, I'm just kidding. Anyway, moving on, we got a new Corpus Armor and a new weapon, and these interest me. So, the armor is obviously on the chest, the shoulders, and the legs, and the weapons are fist weapons. So what's interesting about these is that based on the way they were talking, it seems like these are a new weapon type. And what makes me think that is because they said, like, they slammed together to do something, and they talked about shooting a lot. So I don't know if these are, like, fist energy guns, but if they are, that's really cool, and it's a weapon I'm excited for, if that holds true. So that's something I'm looking forward to. And the armor's not bad either. Armor's pretty good. I think you can't really see the chest piece super well, but maybe that'll be something I'm into. Don't know. And then, lastly, they talked about Volt and Mag Reworks, and what they want to do with them. They want to bring them up to where Excal is, and I think that's just wonderful. If they can bring Volt and Mag up to Excal, that would just be an overall great improvement to the game, because Volt and Mag can be really good in some very niche circumstances right now, and if they can keep their niche circumstances and then also just be very generally good, they'll be A+ rank frames, just like Excal, and that'll be wonderful, and I'm excited for it. So, that has been the Devstream Breakdown, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.